A conversation that is currently being spoken about is the conversation in regards to the abduction of one Kibet Bull, known as Yoko to many. The young man who had started the creation or was the founder of the creation of the silhouettes and cartoons that portrayed President William Ruto in another dimension. But the question that a lot of Kenyans have been asking, how did the police really come to get a hold of Kibet Bull? How did they really trace this man that had evaded capture for a very long time? The DCI have recently rejected their involvement in whatever has been happening, and they have said that they were not in any way involved in the abduction of Kibet Bull. That was in regards to their reply to accusations brought forward by one Senator Okiyah Omutata, who was the last person to have hosted Kibet Bull at his event before Kibet Bull was abducted. Kibet had been a man of many characters and has played a very crucial role in criticizing the government in a very different dimension. The creation of the Kasongo memes became the talk of the town. It was the only thing that Kenyans found fit to discuss in regards to the government of President William Ruto. And they did that without fear of contradiction. And the government realized how those Kasongo memes had gone viral. And according to insiders within the Ruto's regime, a prize of 20 million was offered on anybody that would really trace and get hold of Kibet Bull, Yoko himself. As a university student in Nakuru City at Egerton University in Nakuru, Kibet was very, very, very despicable. A man that avoided detention and even capture. He knew how to scan his environment and surrounding and he knew how to avoid capture. So which begs the question, how did they get hold of him? Who really sold Kibet Bull to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation at a time that the country needed him most? They took him out, or they took him away during the day of Christmas. He was the most spoken, and I say one of the most outspoken young men against the regime of President William Ruto. And yesterday I quoted one Dr. Miguna Miguna in regards to what has been happening, where Miguna Miguna asked the question, who really set up Kibet Bull? Today Miguna Miguna retaliates and also calls to the stand Senator Okiyah Omutata. And this is what Miguna Miguna said according to Okiyah Omutata. He says, to Okiyah Omutata, it's not possible to see clearly the people inside the vehicle on the CCTV image even if you zoom in. How are you able to identify all the people inside the vehicle if you or your staff had not physically looked at the vehicle on the day Kibet Bull was abducted outside your office? Why didn't you warn Kibet of the vehicle's presence? Why didn't you give him a ride? Why didn't you publicly call out the police before or immediately after he was abducted? Kenyans are demanding accountability. Hashtag free Kibet, hashtag free Kibet Bull, hashtag Ruto must go. That's what Miguna Miguna said. Now, Miguna Miguna has been accused several times and fingers pointed at him for clearly selling out Kibet Bull to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Now, a lot of people, one Diamond's DK says, let's first deal with the abductions, we can come back to your fights later. The enemy's aired abduction Kenya. Dr. Miguna Miguna tells this guy, you can't deal with abductions without addressing the issues of NIS agents, traitors and collaborators, especially those hiding in plain sight. Think. Several times, Miguna has pointed out that Okiyah Omutata, a man believed to be one of the greatest activists of our time, he has been arrested, beaten and almost killed by different regimes. When the issue of Gen Z came up, and the issue of Gen Z choosing a leader who will stand out for them, The name of Okiyah Omutata was brought up. The names of people like Morara Kebas was brought up. The name of people like Fred Matiang'i were brought up. But in a span of the last 6 months since the uprising of Gen Z, a lot of people have made their declaration and they stand that they are going to seek the presidential seat come the year 2027. People like Okiyah Omutata, people like Morara Kebaso. Now, which begs the question, if these people were really united and they were meant to seek the seat together, then they would have joined hands. We know that Kalonzo Musyoka is the loyal opposition leader of the people of the Republic of Kenya. He has stood out in different podiums opposing this regime. But why wouldn't they form a government that they are in support of somebody that they know will win, like Kalonzo Musyoka? All of them take stands and decides that, you know what, we are going to seek our own roles and our own we on our own we are going to seek the presidential seat. Okiyah Omutata, Morara Kebaso, on several occasions, the people of the Republic of Kenya pointed fingers at them and accused them of playing both sides. That they are being used by the regime of President William Ruto to divide the Gen Z votes before the year 2027. That the Gen Z cannot come together so that they will choose one leader, because they know that the young men and women of this country, if they come together in support of one opposition leader, then that leader might dethrone the president from his seat and it makes him become one-term president. But to avoid that, they must come in between the Gen Zs. And that's why they brought in Okiyah Omutata and people like Akina Morara Kebaso to divide the votes. The Luhya votes are divided, the Kisii votes are divided, which means Matiang'i has no chance. The Gen Z votes are divided between them, which means the government at large will be one that is united and will be able to fight the opposition. And Ruto will remain to be at the top. And that is why when allegations are brought up that some people like Okiyah Omutata are involved in certain cases of trying to sell out our brothers and sisters who have been open critics to the government, to the DCI, a lot of, very young people will stand in defense of them. Now, going forward, when you look at how accusations are being leveled against one Okiyah Omutata, you realize that they have a lot of questions to answer to the people of the Republic of Kenya. One, and if first, it should tell us how they saw that this vehicle was not supposed to be there. It has been scanning the area, it has been looking for one to abduct, and they realized that only 3 people were inside the vehicle, but they could not raise an alarm or couldn't even inform the people that were there they were being traced. They allowed the situation to take a new turn, and Kibet Bull disappeared. And after his disappearance, that's when they comes to make these allegations one day later. Should we say that they are in bed with our tormentors? That is the question that a lot of Kenyans are asking. For now, I leave it there. All I urge from you is to make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news and more updates.